Welcome back to a market closing live stream. Oh, snap! Some of our faves are doing really well today. Very happy about it. We had enough of the pooper duper, and I'm tired of it. Tired of the poopy doopy stock market we've been having. Just like I'm tired of this poopy doopy state. But that's okay. California's savable because the people want the change. But we're here to talk about the sticks. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the sticks. What do we got? We got Dogecoin sitting at 40 cents. If we go to the hour bar here, we actually, you know what? Let's go to the 5-minute bar. There we go. It'll be a little easier. Get a little bit of a better view here of just recent. Kind of flat, bouncing along, actually right on top of our 40-cent line here. We've got Matterport, though, trading with Doge for the 24-hour gains here. Look at Matterport. Let's go to the last 5 minutes here. Ooh, that's a good breakout over 1284. That's really nice. Incredible run here in Matterport. We were watching Matterport move a little bit this morning. We ended our market open live stream right around here. Had a nice movement, stabilized, moved up again. Matterport was one we shouted out well this morning, just oversold. Such an important technology caught up in the SPAC wreck. I mean, this is a phenomenal company. And really, if you just look at the technology and think about its use beyond just selling real estate, renting real estate, property management, inspections, lawsuits related to those sorts of things. What about, think about it beyond that. Start thinking about accident site reconstruction. What about, engineering, construction, insurance claims. Folks, endless tech here. So excited about that. So then we've got Virgin Galactic. Very nice movement as well here. Another one really beat up horribly in the SPAC attack. Pretty bad beat up over here, actually. So we have Ethereum sitting at 2,800 right now, kind of teetering a little bit. It's had its little slow rise here. We've got Affirm doing well here into the end of the day. Although we saw this run in the morning, looks like potentially traders would have gotten caught in a little bit of a mess here if they got in on too much of the euphoria here. Great opportunity to enter under the VWAP, and nice breakout above that line here. Look at Enphase today, 8.66%. Very nice recovery here. Picked up a lot of shares at 120. Oversold bargain. We have oh my gosh, look at that Mind Medicine pump. Folks, this is within the last 15 minutes. We do have a Mind Medicine interview coming tomorrow, since someone is now mentioning it here. So we've got the interview is tomorrow. I want to say it's right after our market open live stream. So come to the market open live stream tomorrow, and then we'll end that. We'll jump on over to the Kevin O'Leary Mind Medicine interview. So stay tuned for that. All right. What else we have? Okay, Affirm's doing great. I mean, GHVI. And honestly, at 13, it's below my initial entry. I enter GHVI at 1360. Every time it's dipped below that, I bought. So when it's like 1280, 11, 10 something, it's just been buy. So Trade Desk was another Friday buy. Talk to course members about. Oh, I forgot to pin the course member coupon or the coupon code to join the course if you want to. But we were talking about Trade Desk quite a bit on Friday with course members. Let's go ahead and share that. There we go. That pin there. Still thinking tomorrow for an expiration, although I'll know when we get the pictures tonight. CRISPR Therapeutics also doing well here. I did pick up some small options on CRISPR and Invitae. They've been going through a lot of ups and downs here lately, so I've been I picked up some calls on a good red day. We've got the very good food companies up 6, Twilio's up 6, Playboy's up 5.8, Carvana up 5 points. Carvana, well, I want to see how this one has been doing here. Yeah, I actually don't understand. I mean, Carvana has a pretty rich valuation, and so it's had a little bit of a rough May here. But it's also pulling Shift down. But the difference between Shift and Carvana is Shift's fundamentals are, at least in my opinion, appear golden. Okay, a lot of questions as to why I'm wearing a shirt and a tie. I was actually just interviewed twice this morning by some Well, this morning was a San Diego news. You can check that video out by going to kusi.com, and then Inside Politics for Sunday. So it'll be really fun. All right, tough questions on Inside. Anyway, then we got big digitals here at 5.65%, BYD 5.57, very good, 5.47. I mean, these are great numbers here. Look, Lemonade, which y'all know. When you see Lemonade, what's the reminder? It's go to metkevin.com/lemonade to get your quote for insurance. I don't know. I've never said that before. That's actually the first time I've made that. I feel like I've made that connection. Anyway, wait a minute. Cashing in on pledge. Oh, that's Oatly. Okay. So then we've got, what else we have here? Churchill. I do want to hear that for a moment. Hold on a second. Let me listen.
Decades to come, and a part of that's going to come a lot of disruption over the next decade and 2 decades.
Well, you and your sustainable farming had an equally amazing first day of trade back in February when you appeared right here on this show, and it started to spike, hitting session highs there on that day. Talk about the ride these last 3 months, because the stock has definitely moderated and come off those highs.
Well, our team here is focused on building. We've got a great construction.
We're going to pull off this. I thought we were going to talk about plant-based foods, and we're not right now. So let's go back to the sticks here. Churchill Capital getting back to about $20 here. Xpeng still under 30. I mean, crazy sell-offs on the Asian autos, just really autos and EVs in general. We've got Etsy is sitting at still under 175 here, up 455 today. Coinbase at 234, up about 4.5%. A little bit of a rough ride within the day here. It's been mostly flat. It did go, it fell a little bit. I guess you can't really call this chart mostly flat. But we started the day at about, you can't call this flat at all. Never mind. We started the day up about 4.5%, and now we're at 4.5% again. So I guess if I draw a line between those two, they're flat. But there were plenty of other opportunities to buy today. Zoom's actually up 4%. We know that Kevin O'Leary is a Zoom supporter. We'll be talking to him tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow we'll be talking about mind medicine. What else do we have here? Okay, so what else do we have here? Peloton. Oh, Peloton's back to the 3 digits. 3 digits. Woo! It's actually crazy. You got NVIDIA, 4.5% here. Open Door, 4%. Pinterest broke 60 again. Tesla's still under 600. A pretty volatile day. A little bit of a rally here towards the end of the day. Invitae rallying a bit. Is anything red? Volatility. Nordstrom. Macy's, Gap. The recovery stocks. What makes you wonder? Like, are we going to see recovery stocks fall and tech stocks recover? Like, are we going to see that re-rotation? Although we've been talking about the potential for a re-rotation I feel like 6 weeks. So Israel agrees to ceasefire after 11-day conflict with Palestinian militants, which killed 232 in Gaza and 12 in Israel. Wow. It's actually incredible. I mean, the amount of rockets that have been exchanged and seeing the videos of the Iron Dome, I mean, whew, my heart goes out to people on both sides. I don't know the geopolitics there as well as I should, but just we don't want that kind of stuff. Nobody wants that. All right, so what else do we have here? We got Bed Bath here at 3.53%, QuantumScape 3.23%. Arcimoto's also down here. These guys all down. Seagate and Western Digital really giving up, I feel like, after their short-term Chia rally. And I feel like some of that has to do with then again, Western Digital is up 2%. So never mind, 2.5% Western Digital. It's just Seagate. But both of them have been red candlesticking a little bit. Well, let's look at the day here. There we go. Yeah, okay, Western Digital had its run, pulled down again. And we saw the same thing happen at Seagate after a little bit of a Chia pump there. So we'll see. See what happens. GHVI, no, it's incredible. Multitasking with Kevin, yeah. Well, thank you. No mining companies for gold. Okay, GHVI, good recovery here. A little bit of a fall here towards the end of the day. Look at that. I mean, that's weird, okay? These lines have been drawn for months. I mean, like, literally, I drew these lines 2 or 3 months ago. And people are like, oh, draw enough lines and they'll make... No. There's something to technical analysis. That is within 3 cents of my line right here. And we've been kind of trading within this. It's interesting. The little fluctuations. Respect the boxes. You got 2 lines. You got a box. Yeah. All right. So what else do we have here? Okay. Desktop Metal. What is this? 1.9% to the downside. Dave & Buster's 2.51% to the downside a bit. AMC 0.79 to the downside. Yeah, AMC trying to rally here a little bit. Look at this. This is the 1-minute chart. Trying to get a push on AMC. It's kind of been down. It's not been so great today, but it has been trading below its average for most of the day, with the exception of right now. Feels like a little bit of a pump coming there. All right, so let's see here. What else? Let's go ahead and hop on over to, wow, Oatly was up 30%. What happened? I'm going to go to the average 5 here. Yeah, look at that. The typical IPO curve lately. Oh my gosh, it's going to go to the moon. It's intense. All right, so what else do we have here? Not trash. Wealthfront. Let's go to, what do we want to do? We got CoinMarketCap. That's where we want to go. CoinMarketCap. Here we go. We are at 40,181 for BTC. We've got Ethereum's at 2811. Cardano 182. Still down on the week. All the coins down on the week. Ethereum down the most on the week. Cardano actually holding the most steady on the week, which is impressive given its recent runs and how recent those runs have been. Ethereum Classic up 12% in the last 24 hours here. Still down about 10% on the week, though. A lot of different coins. I hear a lot of folks talking about, obviously, Doge. Doge has been okay during this week, but I hear a lot of talk about Litecoin. Litecoin down 30% on the week, up 4% today, though. All right, so let's see here. What else do we have? Is anything red? Is XL Fleet red? XL Fleet, I think there's momentum in this one. It seems to be rallying a little bit. Let's listen to Sarah Eisen's report here.
Market Zone, commercial-free coverage of all the action going into the close. CNBC senior markets commentator Mike Santoli here to break down these crucial moments of the trading day. And today we've got Hightower Chief Investment Strategist Stephanie Link back on a Thursday as well. We'll kick it off with the broader market. Stocks are rebounding today. Major averages are in the green for the first time in 4 sessions. The Dow is off the highs, but it is up 251 points. The NASDAQ is actually the leader today, up almost 2%. Steph, you have a day like today where tech leads, yields are lower, and you forget that there's been this massive freak out over inflation worries. Which is it?
True.
Oh my goodness, I know there's so much going on, and there's a lot just in general, just churn in the.
We should interview
markets.
Stephanie.
But it is interesting to your point. It's the second straight day that growth has outperformed value. It still has a long way to go, Sarah. You know the XLG is the growth index, Russell 1000 growth index, and that's only up about 4.7% on the year. The XLV, the value index, is up 16%. I still think that value has a shot at continuing only because of the valuation gap. Historically, growth has traded at a 5.6.
You got to address the debt.
Value. Today, that number is 10 times premium. So, and earnings for value are going to be better than growth, about 10% better. So to your point, tons to debate. Is the Fed behind the curve? Is it peak growth? Is it inflation? Is it transitory or not? The economy is recovering. We're seeing reopenings coming at much faster than expected. High frequency data is accelerating, especially on the labor market. So lots to consider, lots to ponder. I think this rotation is absolutely going to continue.
Mike,
a lot of questions here about getting Charles from Cardano on. I've reached out many a time, no reply. I'm not doing it anymore.
The easy gains have passed for the market if we haven't got another set of stocks that haven't yet played catch up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about a reversal of the rotation, but I think maybe it's just a little bit less one or the other every single day. I mean, and really the key thing to me in terms of what's going on in terms of NASDAQ leading today and some of the beaten up growth stuff is that people had sort of sold out of them in a pretty comprehensive way. If you looked at all the hedge fund positioning numbers, you look at the Merrill Lynch fund manager survey about the lowest allocations toward tech in many years.
Yep.
I think that people had just sort of turned their back. And so now now the rebalance move is to rebuild a little bit of exposure to growth. And we saw, again, things like this back in February and March, too, where these swap back and forth. Banks run too much relative to tech, and they close the gap a little bit. So I don't know that it has to be a real inflection point for the overall relationship as much as it is. It's not all about, one or the other every single day, and it's a little more of a balanced market.
Ford officially unveiling its F-150 Lightning. The company has already received 20,000 orders for the all-electric truck. Ford CEO Jim Farley was on.
I never want to hear a peep about pre-orders again in my life after who knows what. Who knows what? I want to hear it in the comments first. Who knows what company forever screwed all investors to ever listen to pre-order numbers? You're all going to get it. And no, you got it. It just takes a second for it to pop up in the chat for me. So anyway, I'll wait a sec. So Churchill Capital right now up, what are we at? Actually, we might close over 20 here. We're at 1998 right now. There you go. Oh, look at that. Come on. You all got the same one. There you go. It's Nikola. And then they cancel the Badger. I'm honestly pissed that they canceled the Badger. That's seriously their best tool. Nobody is combining EV batteries, so battery electric vehicles and hydrogen. It's so brilliant. It's the most brilliant Trojan horse for the hydrogen market ever. Somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's actually gonna get it done. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Plug Power with their Renault partnership. All right. So let's listen to Stephanie and then we'll go back to Sticks.
Room to go. So I think the news today on Ford was great. It was exciting. And all the product reviews are really impressive. I think that actually surprised analysts, quite frankly, myself included, in terms of style and speed and fun and being useful. And it's kind of like an image changer for Ford. And we know what GM is doing. They're actually ahead of Ford. Ford had to do this, but I think it makes sense just given the growth potential in the marketplace. And this is one of the reasons why I've always kind of wondered about Tesla, especially at the valuation levels. I get it. I get the growth, but I just don't understand, given all this competition that's ahead of it.
Well, the Lordstown Ford dynamic is pretty interesting, Mike, because on this analyst call, which was a pretty dramatic price target decrease, part of the rationale was that the Ford announcement on the F-150, and that was part of the value that Lordstown was going to bring about with this electric truck. So you've got this battle between sort of the new entrants, which were so hot and all the rage on Wall Street, and now the big guys catching up.
And specifically the price point Ford's able to come in at with the new electric F-150. I mean, the idea, or the Lightning, the idea that they can leverage their mass scale under 40,000 to start, and basically leaving kind of a boutique producer unable to really match it very well. And of course, never mind the brand and the marketing and all the rest of the things that Ford can do. I mean, Ford is essentially trying to do what every kind of legacy company is trying to do, which is pull a Disney. You sort of, everyone knows where the world is going, and you just need to have a killer offering in the new space. That was video streaming, and this, of course, is EVs, that allows the investors and the customers to look past the fact that the old business is going to potentially fade over time and there's no growth there. So if you figured out the future, the market's going to give you some credit for it. Oh, and Ford's 50 billion market cap and Tesla's 550 billion.
Well, Ford stock is up 40% this year. Lordstown's down, Tesla's down, Fisker's down. That pretty much tells the story in the market.
What? What are you doing, Sarah? Fine. But take a look at this. I was just looking at the Ford webpage here. Entry starts at 39.9, commercial oriented. Commercial oriented probably means no active safety, no self-driving, no lane keep assist. We're talking bare bones usually when they say commercial oriented, okay? Like commercial does not mean better. Well, the first thing that I learned, we actually talk about this in Stocks and Psychology of Money, is literally anything that is business class usually just means it's 3 times the price and a ripoff. Like I got business class internet. It was a ripoff. It was 3 times the price and it was 10 times the complexity. I don't even want to get into it again. Sorry, Spectrum. AT&T Fios blew you guys out of the water. All right. Anyway, Look at this, though. The mid-series starts at 52, and their upper end is 90,000. We got to get the Cybertruck out here, because the Cybertruck, what is the thing? I think it's $39,000 for the for the single motor. Single motor, $39,000, but I think that's including the credit. It probably is. Usually they list their prices including the credit. I'm not sure. But anyway, either way, $39,900. And the only difference between these is the range and the speed, which makes sense. But I think their truck is, the Ford's at about 300 miles, and the Tesla's at about 300 miles at 49.9. Okay, all right, so we'll see how they actually stack up. You know, neither of them are built. It's going to be the war of the pickups. Personally, I mean, look, Ford's the #1 pickup seller, okay? They got a really good edge. It's got that classic look, you know? That's the other thing is you got to convince people about the look, okay? Like this is like America right here. This is like Dogecoin, okay? America, Dogecoin. Okay? Neither are bad. They're just very, very different cups of tea. All right. Let's go back.
Having a good first day if you're looking for a SPAC test. Steph, just quickly on Virgin Galactic. Are you buying into the enthusiasm around space flight?
I mean, I wish I could. I like it thematically. I think it's great that they're going to get commercial service by 2022, and the fact that they have reservations already, and they charge 250,000, and they have 600 reservations. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense, you know, conceptually, but from a stock picker's point of view, it's impossible to value.
Snapchat parent Snap hosting its partner summit today and announcing some new products. Julia Borson has the details for us. Hi, Julia.
Snapchat.
Hi, Will. Well, Snapchat is gaining about 6% today. This after the company announced it has over 500 million monthly active users, previously only revealing daily user numbers. They're landing at 280 million. The company unveiling augmented reality features for developers, including the ability to scan a product and find similar looks to buy, plus tools to try on clothes virtually. And for businesses, new profile pages. For creators, Snap introduced gifting to basically enable people to tip their favorite creators. There are also new pro editing tools and a marketplace to connect creators with brands. And Poshmark, which announced today a Snap shopping experience, saw its shares gain about 9%.
Oh, really smart. We need to get Etsy to do that. Oh, come on.
That market likes.
Oh, if they could just get Etsy in with like, or even Pinterest in with like Twitter or Instagram, rather than them try to build out their own like Facebook stores or whatever. Whoo, that'd be juicy. So I'm going to run a poll on this. Okay, look. So I put this together here. To me, and I want to make it clear that like I think I'm indifferent. You know, if I shouldn't say I'm indifferent. If I'm not going to say which one I would buy. You probably know which one I would buy. But anyway, to me, the Ford is like your classic American truck. The Cybertruck is like Dogecoin. Both will appeal to their own audiences. Which do you pick, Ford or Tesla? Because why not? Let's tag Elon. Who's wait? Let's get the CEO of Ford. Yeah. Let's tag both. Jim Farley versus Jim Farley. Fine, Ford. Do they have an ad? Wait, is there no ad? Ad for Ford? What is this? Okay, fine. Versus Ford. All right, there we go. So we got to do the poll. Wait. Oh no, I can't do a poll. I can't do a poll on a picture. Okay. Man. Lightning pickup. Okay. You know what we'll do is we'll do the poll, and then my first reply will be the picture. That's what we'll do. Ford Lightning Cybertruck. Tesla Cybertruck. Okay. And I'll add the reply with the picture. I'll handle that really quick. And then I'll let you know when it's up. Give me 1 sec.
We've got just about a little over 2 minutes to go in the trading day, Mike, and we are coming down here on the Dow, up 200 points, so still a nice gain, but we were up more than 300 at session highs.
Yeah, the market actually it kind of had these couple of little thrusts in there. It seems, again, very mechanical, very much like last Friday. Not to say it's a doomed rally, but it does sort of seem to be obeying these particular levels out there in the market. 4180 or so is where the S&P 500 stopped on Friday at the highs. We didn't quite get there today.
What do you see in the internals?
It's improved. It started out being the New York Stock Exchange was very much a 50-50 split. And now you do have a significant amount more volume in the advancers versus decliners. So that is certainly to the good. And then just to point out this rotation back into kind of the virtual software-based names as opposed to the hard asset ones. You see on a week-to-date basis, the cloud computing ETF up 3.5%. Materials been a great performer for months, backing off by about 2%. So, again, re-rotation after the cyclicals seem to have gotten a little bit tired. And then the volatility index giving up most of that premium that we built up on the little pullback we had, though not all of it. We went from about under 19 up to 26 in a couple of days. And so we have a spike on that chart, but still kind of holding above 20 as the market remains a little bit on guard. Mentioned earlier, a lot of put buying to protect downside, and we do have expiration as well coming up this week, guys.
There's been so much shorting in the market. I cannot agree more. I just got the tweet out. For some reason, it deleted it, and it made me redo it. So go to Real Meet Kevin and vote. Ford Lightning versus the Tesla Cybertruck, okay? All right, so now let's go look at the sticks really quick. We got less than 30 seconds here. So Oatly falling to only being up about 19%. Matterport, 18%. That is a rally into the close, about to hit our line. Dogecoin, 40 cents. Virgin up 15, softening a bit. Ethereum under 2,800, and we're hitting the bell already. So let's get it in here.
Industrial sector only slightly higher as we approach the close. Yields, as we mentioned earlier, have slipped a little bit. The 10-year 163. The dollar soft today.
163 on the 10-year. That's good. Get that down. Volatility is also down 5.87.
As well. At the close, we are higher.
I'll just talk since they don't have the volume right with the bell. Airbnb down 1.44. Delta 1.63. Dave & Buster's 2.33. Seagate 2.75. All to the downside.
Breaking a 3-day losing streak, finishing higher. Welcome back, everyone, to Closing Bell. I'm Sarah Eisen, along with Wilfred Frost and Mike Santoli, CNBC senior markets commentator. Take a look at how we finished up the day on Wall Street. The Dow closing up 186 points. Lost a little bit of steam there, as you can see, into the close, but was a higher day overall. Biggest contributor to the Dow gains, Boeing and Microsoft, strong all day long. Biggest laggards, Caterpillar, United Healthcare, and Dow. S&P 500 closing higher by 1%. We were up more like 2% in the final hour of trade, so we really did sell off a little into the close. But most sectors did close higher. Everyone except for energy was up. Technology, the leader. Communication services right up there with it, and so was real estate. The NASDAQ was the winner on the day, 1.75% higher. Positive now on the week, on track to break a 4-week losing streak for the tech-heavy NASDAQ. We still have tomorrow's trading, of course. And the small caps also closing a little bit higher on the day, a little more than 0.6%. Coming up this hour, Tom McClellan says the stock market may soon run higher with its hair on fire. Find out what he thinks will actually happen.
All right, let's pull off that. We'll see what Tom has to say in a little bit, but let's go ahead first and look at the charts. So looking at the sticks here, Mind Medicine finished up 10.47%, down about 0.5% after here. We've got Oatly up about 18.8%, not as high as it was when it initially popped open at about 30% to the upside. We've got Matterport. Matterport is up 18.11% here at 13.11. Big recovery there on Matterport. We've got CBOE volatility down 7.57%, Arcimoto 3.56, Delta 163 to the downside. Looks like recovery in airlines getting a little bit harder hit here, at least those that we're tracking. UPS, Whirlpool, JP Morgan, recovery section slightly down a little bit here. Corsair Gaming flat, Amazon up 0.5%, Rocket Mortgage up 0.79, Walt Disney up 1.1%. iRobot 1.31. ARK Space Fund is up 1.43, but if we go out to the day on ARK, we've actually been kind of straight down on the ARK Space Fund. It makes you wonder, like, hey, is that your buy the dip opportunity? We've got ARK Space sitting at an initial close of $20.39. We're sitting at $19.12 at the moment. We got Invitation Homes up 1.86%. Nice, really an incredible rally since March. The real estate related houses, really incredible. Let's go back here for a moment, and we'll look at coin market cap as well in a moment, but let's listen in here for a second here. What do we got?
And input costs are rising, are inflation and jobs. And in the last number of weeks, we have gotten surprisingly confusing and sort of narrative shifting information on both of those. So to have that followed by tax day, so probably a lot of retail selling both in cryptocurrency and in NASDAQ-like stocks, and then the movement down in crypto yesterday felt terribly heavy, and retail was not there to pick it up. So I think we're going to continue to see what we saw today with this growth value seesaw, which really has very much to do with that same tug of war you just mentioned in terms of is this game of chicken between the Fed and yields going to materialize? Who's going to be right? Who's going to be wrong? And I expect that for this phase of the recovery, which is more...
Oh, Elon Musk just tweeted. Let's take a listen in here to what Elon Musk just had to say. It looks like this was in response to an ARK Invest related thread, which we know ARK Invest is very bullish on Bitcoin. We have Brett Whitten here, has some incredible insights. I've not read this yet, but generally has very incredible insights here. Previously, we demonstrated how Bitcoin minting could allow solar plus battery systems to economically scale to provide a larger share of grid energy. This is true. Really, the argument is that, hey, we can put solar and even wind grids up wherever we want. And battery systems there at location, so we don't have to transmit the energy anywhere. You just Bitcoin mine right where you're producing the energy. As expected in this update, the result holds across different historical Bitcoin mining pricing / hash timeframes. And so some chat here between Sam and Brett in their models. We then jump on over to a reply from Elon Musk. I agree that this can be done over time, but recent extreme energy usage growth could not possibly have been done so fast with renewables. Ooh. The question is easily resolved if the top 10 hashing organizations just posted audited numbers of renewable energy versus not. Ooh, I support that. That's a really good argument. It's really what Elon here is saying is there's a lot of misinformation about where the energy is actually coming from. Hold on a second. I think we got an earnings here. Let's listen to this.
Company by revenue, a beat on both the top and bottom lines, plus strong guidance. Adjusted EPS coming in at $1.63 versus $1.51 expected. Revenue $5.58 billion versus $5.4 billion, which is what the street was expecting. As I said, guidance is strong here. Third quarter EPS forecast between 170 and 182. Expectations were for $1.56. Revenue also stronger than expected at $5.92 billion versus $5.5 expected. You can see that shares are moving higher by only about 1.5% on the back of these strong results. But remember that this is a stock that is up about 50% year to date, 130% over the last 12 months. And it did have its analyst meeting just in April, where many thought that it played it kind of safe with long-term forecasts, but certainly benefiting from the chip shortage that we've seen, more manufacturing ahead, though no comments in this quarterly report. We'll certainly be listening out for that on the call, which kicks off in less than 30 minutes. Wilf?
Thanks so much for that, Dee. Mike, not too far again from its recent high, 145.
Well, that's good. Good for applied materials here. Let's go back to the sticks here. Let's see what we got overall in the market here. I also do want to look at coin market cap. I did also tweet a quoted reply to Elon Musk, just sort of my thoughts on, look, if they did audits on these institutions or these miners, then we'd actually know, okay, how much are we actually spending on dirty energy? And does that mean we should scale Bitcoin slower or try to, which I would argue probably the answer is no to that, and nobody wants to hear that who is obviously investing in Bitcoin. But then you have this balance of, okay, well, I mean, we can't instantly go all renewable, so it's going to take some time. How long is it going to take? Are we okay with using more dirty fuels between now and then? It's an interesting argument. Elon's definitely opened a can of worms here. Let's go to coin market cap. And it's not one that hasn't been there before. We've known about this energy issue before. Elon just took a big fat highlighter and just highlighted this energy debate. It's kind of like the Onion. They use black highlighter a lot. You know, anyway, I think very few people know about the Onion and black highlighters. Never mind. So Bitcoin at 40,469, Ethereum 38.23. We've got Cardano at 183. We have Litecoin 213. And where's Doge? I want to see how Doge is behaving here. How's our dollar, our trading volume at Doge been? You know, we haven't looked at that in a little bit. Let's pull our volume here. So we're going to go, okay, this is the day chart of volume. This is trading volume, though. So this is coin volume. It's a lot lower, obviously, than where we have been. Let's look at dollar volume. We have to zoom in on the time frame a lot, though. Let's go into the last month here. Still decent. I mean, what is this number? Oops. Here we go. Can we see it? Let me try to refresh. Trying to get the value here. I'm having a little trouble with CoinMarketCap. There we go. I was zoomed in too much. 24-hour volume sitting right around $16 billion right now. 12 to 16 billion. Quite shy of sort of the volume that we've had of 40 to 50 or even 35 to 40 billion. So a fraction of the volume right now, but still much higher than where we have been. I mean, if we go back a year, right, we're still at high volume levels here, but downtrend on the volume. So something to keep in mind on. Yeah, there we go. All right, after hours, we have Arrival up a couple percent here in after hours so far. Home Depot up 1%. Lululemon, Zillow, Virgin Galactic all moving up a little bit in the after hours. Moving to the downside, Trimble, Matterport giving up almost 1% in the after hours after an 18% run. Mind Medicine giving up about 0.5% here. We know that the readings can be a little volatile here. Let's go ahead and listen into this news alert for a moment.
The U.S. with Alaska sailings in July. These will be all vaccinated cruises.
Wow.
I guess Arnold Donald Wilfred managed to work it out with the CDC. A lot of complaints from those CEOs, not just him, from Norwegian as well, about very tough CDC guidelines as far as bringing sailing back for the summer, which the CDC said they could do, but with all sorts of testing and restrictions. So it looks like they are going to be able to do this. 3 cruises going out to Alaska. It is a milestone, Allie, for an industry that has been idled for the last year and a half with no cruises. They were one of the early poster children of how contagious.
Yeah, shutting down basically. Carnival Cruise Lines down about 1.8%. And yeah, cruise lines were. Remember, like very early on in the pandemic, we'd see people like trapped on the cruise lines. So sad. I had actually just gotten off a cruise like 2 weeks before the whole outbreak. It's crazy. So, all right, we got a question here. Kevin, you still going to do the channel if I vote for you as governor? Absolutely. The channel's not going anywhere. In fact, I plan, and we already are, like doubling up on our content with more content, more value. And I plan to do the same thing. If anything, we just keep adding more content. I'm all about more content. The channel's not going anywhere because I'm not effing leaving. More content, more lectures in the courses. More knowledge, more financial education. You know, that's what I stand for. Let's see here. No, it'd be tomorrow. Thank you. Next on the course coupon code. Thanks for asking. Tomorrow is the tentative. I will know tonight for sure because I get the new marketing. I wish options would show after hours gains. Oh, really? You want to suffer more hours with options? Options is so volatile. My goodness. And it's fine if you have a written down strategy. But if you don't have a written down strategy for options, I don't think you'll make it in options trading. Options trading is very, very, I mean, it's basically like leverage trading, right? Oh, Mitch McConnell's on.
Tax increase, they may be able to pull it off, but I think it's going to be really hard, and we're going to fight them the whole way if that's what they have in mind.
I mean, I know it's hard to predict, and I know you're the best of the best at all this on the floor of the Senate. You really are. And you were so instrumental in the 2017 tax cut, as well as many other things, sir. I just, do you think it's going to come down to a 51-vote reconciliation? No real compromise, no real bipartisanship, but all the social spending and the taxing and the Green New Deal will come down to one gigantic reconciliation package?
If they're willing to settle for a targeted infrastructure bill without revisiting the 2017 tax bill, we'll work with them. But if they want a $2 to $4 trillion package, it's not going to have any Republican support. And that means, Larry, that they'd have to get absolutely everybody in line. They did it. They did it on the so-called rescue package. I think this will be a lot harder. There are Democrats in rural areas who don't want their family farms confiscated by the federal government on the day you pass away. I think there'll be considerable resistance.
All right. I know your time is short, Senator, and I appreciate it very much. I just want one last question. Apparently, Senator Bernie Sanders, is putting up or intends to put up a resolution that would, not the force of law, but a resolution that says don't give $735 million of arms sales money to Israel. And I guess I'm asking you, has the Democratic Party just decided to abandon Israel now and to just back Iran and back Iran's terrorist state clients like Hamas and Hezbollah? Is that how the game has changed?
It's changed a lot, and I think at least half the
I'm going to pull off the Hezbollah Hamas. I'm more interested. Look, my heart goes out again to what's happening there, but I'm very, 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 very interested in what's happening with this infrastructure bill. Obviously, taxation, the infrastructure, all of it is going to have massive implications for inflation, massive implications for expectations of inflation, massive implications for which stocks are actually potentially going to get funding through this. It's very, very important. So it's I mean, it's not a surprise though to hear Mitch McConnell come out and say, "Hey, you're going to take our tax cuts away? We ain't supporting
you, but we're going to take out the building."
Right.
There's no moral equivalency between Hamas and Israel.
Jacob says, haven't you guys learned from Coinbase? Take a look at, I would encourage you to take a look at two things. And no guarantees. We'll know better when we have the S1. But what I really encourage you to do is check this video out. Oh, where was it? Here. Okay. Watch this. It's actually, I think, very important if you're thinking about buying it. And it just didn't get as many views as usual here. So I don't know, like maybe YouTube doesn't like Robinhood right now or something. But watch this right here. New details just out. Watch before the Robinhood IPO. I think there's a really good argument built in this. And Jacob, it's literally a response to your question. Honestly, you know what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to edit this title. So sorry, because I did just kind of read out the title. But whatever. Robinhood versus Coinbase IPO. Watch. That's better. Before Robinhood IPO. Yeah, that's better. That's better. There we go. Robinhood versus Coinbase IPO. So I don't know which one's going to index first, but there you go. I just changed the title. And yeah, you get a little behind the scenes there on the title change. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's pull sticks again here. So going back to the sticks, and we have, we'll also jump back to CNBC here for a moment. We've got in the after hours, no real major movement here. Even Carnival's number. Oh, here's the guy who said the market's going to have its hair on fire.
As evidenced by the fact that it's working great up until now. We are in a corrective period as part of that, leading to a low that the ideal annual seasonal pattern says is due in late June. And it's from that low in late June that we get the big rally up into July. Thanks for reproducing the chart. That looks good. So it's a great time to buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, repeat almost daily between now and late June. But it's different, interestingly, in the first year of a new presidential term. And that's what is shown in the chart I sent you of the presidential cycle pattern. It does the same sort of math as the annual seasonal pattern. We're averaging together multiple terms, but here we're only looking at first years of a presidential term as opposed to all years. And this pattern says that it's more like mid-June, and then the rebound off of that goes way higher. We'd say sell in July in the first year of a presidential term and go away, but it's just not as catchy and rhyming as sell in May and go away.
Where's the hair on fire?
The hair on fire is coming out of that mid-June bottom, at which point I'm hoping that everyone who comes on your air will be speaking fearfully, and the market's never going to go up again, and the Fed's lost traction, and the sky is falling, and we're all going to die. If we can get everybody muttering to themselves about mid-June like that, then we can get a great strong rally to that July top.
Well, we will see what people are saying in a couple of weeks' time, Tom. In the meantime, what's your take on gold at the moment, which is
oh gosh,
decent...
Sarah kills it. We literally cut to this going, oh, he's going to talk about hair on fire. And then he wasn't talking about it. Leave it to Sarah. Leave it to freaking Sarah coming out with that. Where's the hair on fire? Oh, man.
Something that one of its fellow travelers is doing. The chart shows the share price of TIP, TIP, which is the iShares Treasury Inflation Protected Securities ETF. And most of the time, gold and TIP do exactly the same thing. They do it to different magnitudes, but their dance steps are like Fred and Ginger. They're running right together. It's when they do something different from each other that it gets interesting. And what we're seeing now is gold is rallying momentarily, but it's still in a pattern of lower highs and lower lows from a longer term perspective ever since the August 2020 top. But TIP is making higher highs. And when we have seen that before, it's not been very often. That's been bad news for both of them. It says that the people who trade TIP and the TIPs generally are overestimating inflation more so than what gold is saying. Now, the problem this year may be that part of what's driving up the TIPs generally as a class is the Fed is acting as a buyer of treasuries generally and TIPs included in that. So the Fed may be ruining its own inflation measure by skewing it. We don't know yet, but it's not a good sign for gold that it's failing to keep pace with that. So at the point when this rally ends, and gold rallies typically end in spiky Eiffel Tower tops, and then I expect gold to take out the recent low and continue downward until 2025. It's in an uptrend at the moment, but it's looking shaky.
Wow.
What about Bitcoin? How does it play in? We don't have a fancy one for you on this, but just given the steep price correction we've seen this week, and the question about Bitcoin versus gold and around this whole inflation story, how does the chart look to you?
The interesting thing about Bitcoin, and I didn't bring a chart, is that its movements tend to lead to the same movements in the stock market about a week later, not the same magnitude. So when we saw the 30% down move in Bitcoin, that doesn't mean that the S&P 500 is going down 30%. It's not the same magnitude, but it's the same dance steps. And so the rebound today in the stock market was nice, but the downward trend in Bitcoin over the past week says that for at least the next week or so, the trend should be downward again for the stock market. And today was probably a good selling opportunity.
Wow.
Tom McClellan, always interesting. Thank you.
Thank you
for bringing in charts. Let's send it over to Mike Santoli for a look at how this bull market is shaping up compared.
That was great. That was really, I mean, look, he's got a very interesting argument. A little bit of talk out of both sides. Okay. Talks about like maybe this July top, this mid-July top, this mid-June low, and really having a buy the dip opportunity, sell the top opportunity. Interesting that he thinks gold is shaky, but what I thought was more interesting, where he's talking a little bit out of both sides, is where he's going, hey, we've got these basically indications. What was it? Oh, here, these indications that maybe inflation expectations are too high, that people are overestimating inflation. But then again, because the Fed is buying so many treasuries, it's hard to look at like yields as a guide as to what people think inflation is going to be, because the Fed is buying up treasuries when you have more buyers of the treasuries, you actually make yields artificially lower because you're a buyer, which means prices go up, yields go down. It's an interesting argument. If I had to extract a few things from this, I mean, I think what he's saying is, hey, we get a potential rotation of excitement to the upside in July. I'm planning for that upside, or hoping for that upside, either way, sometime between now and September/October. If it starts happening in July, maybe could happen.
Anticipating the taper,
perhaps,
which is the tighter. Mike, thanks. Up next, Saks CEO Mark Metrick on the state of the consumer and whether rising prices could end up ultimately hurting spending. Plus, it's one of the most viewed viral videos of all time.
Ow!
Oh, Charlie.
Ow, Charlie!
Oh no, it's gonna NFT. Come on.
That really hurt.
I love that. I love those guys. The video is set to be auctioned off as an NFT, and we will be joined by those two guys, which they're teenagers now.
Oh man. Oh, man.
And I think that's very important. Peter Marisi, I'll read this from the Fed minutes yesterday that shook everybody up. A number of participants suggested that if the economy continued to make rapid progress towards the committee's goals, it might be appropriate at some point in upcoming meetings to begin discussing a plan for adjusting the pace of asset purchases. And as you both know, Larry Summers has become even more critical of the potential threat of inflation. Now he's moved his attack from the administration to the Fed. So, Peter, how do you read that? Is the Fed going to not their policy so much, Peter, but is the Fed going to change its message sooner than people think?
Well, I think they're going to try to avoid that, but they're going to be compelled by inflation. This is not a temporary spike in my judgment. Also, they really have changed policy already. Last year, they printed enough money to buy over $3 trillion worth of bonds. This year, they're shooting at about $1.5 trillion. This demonstrates that they can taper and stop the floodgates and still have a strong stock market. We're going to get very, very strong corporate profits reports this July.
Yeah.
That will put a lot of feet under the market. It'll lower the price-earnings ratio substantially. That really offers the Fed at Jackson Hole an opportunity to start talking about phasing into a more normal monetary policy stance. And I think they would do well to grab that.
David Bahnsen, you heard Mr. Marisi having...
That's an interesting argument that basically, hey, this July, after we get the Q2 earnings and we have more stable earnings, maybe that's the time to start tapering when the market maybe starts recovering a little bit. Go, okay, now we're going to take.
Now, Leon Cooperman the other night told me that he's a fully invested bear, which is kind of the same thing. But anyway, do you agree with Mr. Marisi? Do you agree with Leon Cooperman?
Well, there's different reasons that people could. I'm sorry, Peter. What I think is that what Lee was getting at is that there's so many reasons to be concerned. There's so many headwinds, and yet the best thing to do is still stay fully invested at this time. But what we're talking about with the Fed is so different when you talk about the language they may use versus the actions they may take. I watched this for years after the financial crisis of people sweating and crying and wondering what they're going to do because the Fed would change some language and then they didn't do it. They didn't raise rates. They didn't start tightening. I think the Fed has to get to a point where they start pretending. Read that sentence. 9 different qualifiers, sort of pausing and hemming and hawing, as opposed to just saying, hey, we're eventually going to quantitatively tighten. They're not ready to do it yet because they need to coddle financial markets. That's the reality.
Wow. Peter, you were going to say something. I'll let you take us out.
Well, I think it's important to recognize that a lot of the Fed policy is boosting housing prices to levels they're probably not comfortable with. You know, one of the things they can do is just start to pull back a bit on their purchases of mortgage-backed securities and keep supporting the treasuries market. I think that the market would accept that, and that would be a prudent move.
That's not a bad idea. This is some good insight here so far. I like some of the things we've been hearing just in the last 20 minutes.
Housing's in great shape. Why do they have to buy $40 billion of mortgage-backed securities every month? That's a great point. All right, gentlemen, pretty good optimism on a Thursday evening. David Bahnsen, Peter Marisi, thank you very much. All right, folks, up next.
I like that. This was really good. Okay, let's look at the Twitter poll we got here. Remember to check out that coupon code link down below. Tentatively expiring tomorrow for the To the Moon coupon code. It's been a little bit of a challenge getting the new marketing. But anyway, prices will be going up. Take a look at that for the private live streams and lifetime access to all the lectures, including all the new ones that I had. So we tweeted this about the Ford versus the Cybertruck, right here, versus the Cybertruck. And it looks, I'm actually surprised. I have to say, I'm very, very surprised by this. I thought this would have been like a 1090 poll. Like I thought this would have been a lot more definitive. And actually, I think there are a lot of people who agree with this statement right here from Taylor. I think that's actually probably why we're seeing this divergence. Like I mentioned, you got classic and you got different, right? So, but yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. Thank you for the 4,000 of you who voted at Real Meat Kevin on Twitter. This has enlightened me. And honestly, I mean, I know I'm just sampling a Twitter audience here, But now I have my head, and I'm like scratching my head going, do I need to look at Ford stock? I don't know. Probably not. Right now I'm kind of purchased out. Although I did buy some stocks this morning. You know, I always say I'm not going to buy stocks, and I buy stocks. It's a problem. Anywho. All right. Check out that coupon code down below. Get 2 free stocks with Webull when you deposit $100 at metkevin.com/Webull. Come for the Mind Medicine interview later. Folks, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.